Mantras of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, never forget that you are not alone. The Divine is with you, helping and guiding you. He is the companion who never fails, the friend whose love comforts and strengthens. Have faith and He will do everything for you. With my love and blessing, says our Divine Mother.
Always the power poured back like sudden rain, or slowly in His breath a presence grew. It clambered back to some remembered height, or soared above the peak from which it came. Each time you hold, there was a larger voice, a dwelling on a higher spirit plane. The light remained in him a longer space.
Words of our Divine Mother, taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother, Volume 7, page 394, topic Irresistible Attraction for the Divine. Our Divine Mother says, there are people in whom the psychic moment, the emotional impulse is stronger than intellectual understanding. They feel an irresistible attraction for the divine without knowing, without having the slightest idea of what it is, of what it can be, and what it represents. Nothing, no intellectual notion, but a kind of impulse, attraction, a need, an inevitable need. Our Divine Mother says, and these people who have that, if I may say, as a result of the grace, they have a mind which does not trouble, does not question, does not discuss, go very fast. And then, what is quite miraculous according to ordinary ideas is that as soon as they reach that degree of consecration, which identifies them through their psychic being with the Divine Presence, suddenly they become endowed with capacities of expression absolutely unknown to their nature, says our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother continues to say in page 418 in the same volume, there are two principal things. This, the capacity for enthusiasm, which makes one come out of his greater or lesser inertia in order to throw himself more or less totally into the thing which rouses him. Our Divine Mother says, as for instance, the artist for the art, the scientist for his science, and in general, every person who creates or builds has an opening. The opening of a special faculty, possibility, creating an enthusiasm in him.
On the high tops of self, his soul, mind, heart became a single sum. Only life's lower reaches remained dim.
Our Divine Mother says, when this is active, something in the being awakens, and there is a participation of almost the whole being in the thing done. There is this. And then there are those who have an inner faculty of gratitude, those who have an ardent need to respond with warmth, devotion, joy to something which they feel like a marvel hidden behind the whole of life, behind the tiniest little element, the least little event of life, who feel this sovereign beauty or infinite grace which is behind all things. Our Divine Mother says, I know people who have had knowledge of anything, who are hardly educated, whose minds were altogether of an ordinary kind, who had in themselves this capacity of gratitude, of warmth which gives itself, understands, and is thankful. Well, for them, the contact with the psychic was very frequent, almost constant, and to the extent that they were capable of it, conscious, not very conscious, but a little, in the sense that they feel that they were carried, helped, uplifted above themselves. Our Divine Mother says these two things prepare people the most. They were born with one or other. If they take the trouble, it develops gradually, it increases. The capacity for enthusiasm, something which throws you out of your miserable and mean little ego, the generous gratitude, the generosity of the gratitude which also flings itself in thanksgiving out of the little ego. These are the two powerful levers to enter into contact with the divine in one's psychic being. Our Divine Mother says this serves as a link with the psychic being, the surest link.
Their prophet utterances and flame-wrapped outbursts of the immortal word and flashes of an occult revealing light approached him from the unreachable secrecy.
Next words of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, taken from the collective works of our Lord Sri Aurobindo, volume 30, page 320, two main foundations of the sadhana. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says there are two main things to be secured as the foundations of the sadhana in integral yoga: the opening of the psychic being and the realization of the self above. For the opening of the psychic being, concentration on the Divine Mother, and self offering to her are the direct way. The growth of bhakti, which you feel, is the first sign of the psychic development. A sense of the Divine Mother's presence or force, or the remembrances of her supporting and strengthening you, is the next sign. Eventually, the soul within begins to be active in aspiration and psychic perception, guiding the mind to the right thoughts, the vital to the right moments and feelings, showing and rejecting all that has to be put away and turning the whole being in all its moments to the divine alone. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, for self-realization, peace and silence of the mind are the first conditions. Afterwards, one begins to feel released freedom, wideness, to live in a consciousness, silent, tranquil, untouched by any or all things, existing everywhere and in all, one with or united with the divine. Other experiences come on the way or may come, such as the opening of the inner vision, the sense of the force working within, and various movements and phenomena of the working, etc. One may also be conscious of the essence of the consciousness and descents of the force, peace, bliss, or light from above, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo.
Single eye, as when the eyes stare at an invisible point, till so the intensity of one luminous spot, an apocalypse of world of images, enter into the kingdom of the seer.
Next, words by our Divine Mother, taken from volume 4 of our collective works of our Divine Mother, page 45, topic being about suffering. Our Divine Mother says, there is a state of human consciousness, it is not yet superhuman, it's truly human, in which two things may coexist. One may have sufferings and not feel them, be as if they did not exist. That is a misfortune. A cross touches only the outer consciousness, the physical, mental, vital, but the psychic, in truth, the psychic is above all suffering. Let us take a very simple example, an illness. A physical disorder brings a suffering, at times much suffering. But there are people who are in such a state of consciousness that their physical suffering do not exist. They are not real for them. It is the same thing with separation. If you love someone and you are separated from that person, you suffer. This is one of the most common of the sufferings. It is the ties which are broken. Well, in a certain state of consciousness, the real link between the two beings cannot be broken, for it does not belong to the domain where things break. Therefore, one is above what may happen. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says in volume 32, page 187, feel the Divine Mother's presence always. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, there is a dynamic joy as well as self-existent joy in the soul itself. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, there is a dynamic joy as well as the self-existent joy in the soul self. You have been going more and more into the psychic consciousness deep within you. When one is in the psychic, one begins to feel the presence of the Divine Mother always with one, and this becomes more and more frequent, constant, vivid, and real as the psychic develops its power. This presence is felt in different ways by different sadhaks, but it is a true experience of the sadhana. It is what we mean when we say that the sadhak must come to feel always the presence of the Divine Mother in his heart or within him. For, in fact, she is there always. Only her presence is veiled by the ordinary moments of the mind, vital and physical. But when these become quiet and the psychic unveils itself, then one feels the presence of the Divine Mother within. Love and devotion depends on the opening of the psychic, and for that the desires must go. The vital love offered by many to the Divine Mother instead of the psychic love brings more disturbance than anything else because it is coupled with desire. Our Divine Mother says, by the force of aspiration and the grace, your psychic being, your true being, the being that is in the heart, that is the spark of the Divine Mother's consciousness. Self giving, the whole being gets progressively satisfied round the central psychic being. Give yourself up. It's the best way of finding yourself. A sincere consecration of all you are, all you do is for the sadhana much more effective than meditation. True love and consecration lead much quicker to the divine than an arduous tapasya. When speaking of physical things, one should have a lively, pleasant, witty style. When speaking of vital things, the style should be more eloquent. When speaking of the mental things, the style should be clear, precise, exact. When speaking of the psychic things, one must be inspired. Spiritual speech is all powerful in its simplicity, says our Divine Mother. How to keep the outer being calm. On 14th March 1973, a sadhak spoke to our Divine Mother.
Between summit and abyss, she joined the distant ends, the viewless deep.
On 14th March 1973, a sadhak spoke to the Divine Mother about disharmony in a department and consequent inner agitation in him. At the end of the discussion, our Divine Mother said the following: really, it is a difficult time. I think we ought to be very quiet, very quiet. I'm going to tell you my old mantra. It helps you to keep the outer being very quiet. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. Om Namo Bhagavate. These three words, says our Divine Mother, for me they meant Om means I implore the Supreme Lord. Namo means obeisance to Him. Bhagavate means make me divine. This is the translation of it. I mean, for me, that has the power to calm everything. It is only in the calm that one can know and do. All that is done in agitation and violence is an aberration and folly. The first sign of the divine presence in the being is peace. Do not confuse calm with inertia. Calm is a self possessed strength, quiet and conscious energy, mastery of the impulses, control over the unconscious reflexes. In work, calm is the source of efficiency and an indispensable condition for perfection, says our Divine Mother. O Supreme Lord, says our Divine Mother, we implore Thee, give us the strength and the beauty and the harmonious perfection needed to be Thy divine instruments upon earth.
Of prophetic speech, and set upon the tripod seat of mind, all was made wide above, all lit below. In darkness core, she dug out wells of life. On the undiscovered depths, imposed the form, lent a vibrant cry to the unuttered vast.